Hey there, and welcome to part 5 of the Minotaur Berserker. In this episode, we're gonna go into Zot and hopefully win the game. So let's get into this. Um, I'm sitting only on plus 11 slaying anymore now, but that's absolutely enough to win the game. Right now, I'm sitting on 3 scrolls of magic mapping, so I'm gonna magic map as soon as I'm down to Zot 3. Before that, I'm gonna save them up. And there's a huge Draconian pack, including a shifter, which is really dangerous. I'm gonna call up a brother in arms immediately to help me out here, because shifters can teleport you around, like you're seeing right now. And they can also teleport a lot of Draconians in your face, which is also pretty obnoxious. So down here in Zot, one very important thing to say here is most of the time you are better off reacting prematurely, and it's the end of the game, right? There's no real reason to save up resources or not use something or anything like that. And what's also very important to say about Zot, this area is designed to be able to kill you off, no matter how strong you feel you are. And that's also something you really gotta be careful about. So this digging trick didn't work out, so let's try it again here. Against huge packs of Draconians, I like to go for strategies like these, trying to put up kill holes, but ending up opening up ways to other rooms. So I keep Truck's Hand for now running, because I want to be regenerating. Since it's still that problem with a two-handed weapon fighting style, you take more damage. And that's why I want to keep the Truck's Hand running as much as possible. So even if I'm very close to winning and the most part of this game was pretty cheesecake, I can actually die on this episode pretty easily, and I'm very aware of that fact. And that's something I really want to point out. If you're down in Zot, you're in danger. Zot is danger, always, because there's so much terrifying synergy between certain enemies, and most of the enemies down here are built to really be obnoxious as possible. It's something you gotta be careful about, and I'm gonna explain while we're playing how to deal with situations. Because as a Minotaur Berserker, you are well equipped with a wide array of options to take care of situations like these. So this is one of those. There's a Moth of Wrath incoming, and these are particularly deadly in combination with dragons and draconians, because they will put all this stuff into Berserk, and getting surrounded by a bunch of Berserk draconians is enough to kill most characters, actually. And if you're surrounded by some Berserk dragons, it's getting even worse. These death cops here slow you when they attack you, and that's also something that can screw up your day royally, because being slowed while surrounded by a bunch of draconians is also pretty dangerous. And that's all this little synergy stuff happening here. So there's another Moth of Wrath closing in. That's why I'm immediately fleeing upstairs and killing the rest of the draconians upstairs. Picking up some meat, and well, let's go upstairs again. So the Moth enraged one draconian, which is okay. I got slowed by the cop, which is not so okay, but for now I feel like we should be able to deal with this. This is also new. White draconians were not able to push you back. That's a new feature. I don't recognize that. Alright, so we got the entrance here covered up. That's good. And always be aware of the danger of large draconian packs. Because, yeah, there we are again. Once they meet with a Moth of Wrath, these thingies turn into rampaging stampedes of deadly enemies. While they are not as dangerous if there is no Moth of Wrath around, but still not harmless. And to add some spice into it, there's always the chance that a unique draconian named Tiamat will spawn down here, which is also pretty strong enemy. So far, though, we're doing great. Oh, thanks for those Kurari needles, Trog. I really need some of those. Not. So the god gifts from Trog get less and less interesting along the game, because at some point you have your weapons you want to use. That's just the thing. So we're down at Zot-3. That's the point where I found a new magic mapping. Whoopsie. Could have used that earlier. Well, whatever. So there's a ghost moth. These are not dangerous for people like me. Ghost moths are alright, are especially dangerous for spellcasters. So another visit to the abyss, and quite short one. Well, it turns out picking up the abyssal rune this run was a pretty good decision, considering how often I get banished here. Because your way back out of the abyss gets a lot easier when you're carrying around the abyssal rune, due to the quicker spawning of upstairs. So there's Tiamat. Alright, so I don't want to fight this like that. So I'm gonna go over here, dig diagonally here, and do that again here. So I will only face one Draconian at a time. I can't use Brothers in Arms correctly here, because there's not enough space visible around me to use Brothers in Arms. And look at that, that's Tiamat. I'm not able to kill this thing off with a plus 11 slaying bonus on me. And I'm actually getting ripped apart brutally. But it's slowly dying. But still, I needed 2 Cure Wounds potions to survive this ordeal. And that's a character carrying around a plus 9 battle axe and using plus 11 slaying bonus. That's Tiamat. Tiamat always comes with this fancy dragon skin cloak, which has shifting elemental resistances. They switch over while you're wearing it, which makes it kinda unreliable, although it's a plus 4 cloak. That's more you can get on every single normally spawned cloak. So if you don't have a good cloak at that point of the game, it's sure worth picking up. But for me, I prefer that plus 2 magic resistance actually right now, because this was one weak spot of my build, and I prefer to cover up my weakness here. There's another Executioner's Axe. So if you're up to use the biggest and baddest weapons available, Trog is your kind of guy. But, well, I'm almost good enough right now to use the Executioner's Axe, but there is actually not much reason to do so. So let's keep going. And there's a curse too. I'm immediately gonna back off because these thingies can torment you, and they're really dangerous in general. Especially if they're able to hide behind walls of enemies and keep tormenting you from a distance. Stuff can get really ugly really quickly. For me personally, I feel like cursed toes are the most dangerous enemies down here in Zot. Or at least the type of enemy I was not too good in dealing with in the past. So I'm gonna dig a hidey hole here again to reduce the space for these Draconians again. But yep, I got bashed down pretty decently again. But just a handful of Draconians. So there's another Ghost Moth. but we don't care too much about that. Oh, look at that, a new ring. Chances are I'm not going to use that. Nope, it's a good one, but I don't need that. So, this is not good. This is not good at all. The moth had all the time in the world to enrage everything around her. But yeah, as long as there's only one dude in my face, everything's okay. Stuff like that only explodes into your face if you're a strong melee character, if you're getting surrounded. As long as there's only one guy in front of you, you can normally even beat down a golden Berserker golden dragon. It's normally not too much of a problem. So that's Zot 5. Let's exclude this because I don't want to run into that by accident. Right now I just want to clear out the rest of the level first. One bad thing about Zot 5 is this whole area around the orb is littered with permanent teleportation traps, which leads to the fact that sooner or later there will be people swarming all around this place, and there's different ways to deal with that. You can re-explore the floor many different times to clear out every single rest of the enemies. That's one thing you can do. That's a lot of baddies here. Oh, oops. I gave that moth a chance to enrage all these people here, and did me quite some damage here. Another thing to take care of, to keep in mind here, is the southern area here of the orb is filled with obnoxious enemies like these orbs of fire, ancient liches, as you can see here, and this is getting out of hand really badly here right now. That's why I'm going to dig. And yeah, this sucks big time. Alright, so first step, we're going to go into Trog's hand. Next step, we're going to haste, because I'm sitting at 12 of those. And apart from that, I'm going to go into silence and start killing at least a few of the liches. And look at that, I'm already getting swarmed. And yeah, so let's take this really carefully. Alright, let's flee upstairs for now. So I took a moth and a draconian monk upstairs. Scary enough. But I feel like I should be able to kill them. Okay. So if I hadn't reacted quickly enough in this, I would have been dead immediately. So let's go upstairs again. There's this orb of fire around me, but wow. I'm not gonna take this staircase again, because there's too much bad stuff swarming around that staircase. There's still this ancient lich hanging around down there. And right now I'm pretty happy if I can chop up these draconians a little bit. But it turns out I'm taking tons of damage here. And I'm gonna flee for now. I got heavily corroded. Minus 20 by now. So we're gonna... Ooh. Am I gonna die to this? I mean, seriously. Can I paralyze this guy? No. Ugh. So I'm gonna blink here. Down in Zot, every blink is uncontrolled, but I don't care too much. And I'm gonna summon a brother in arms to finish off this guy. That's how desperate I was. Other option would have been to use a potion of cancellation to get rid of the corrosion. And I could have fought this as well. But yeah, I feel like this was also pretty okay to do so. So this is how quickly the tides turn down here in Zot. Most of the time in this game I was just kicking ass and just destroying everything, and now, look at that. I'm actually dying to an electric golem here. That's obscene. So I get double zapped every time I'm standing here, that's why I'm swapping the positions here a little bit. And I'm gonna bring up Brother in Arms just to have something attacking this dude while I'm able to sip a potion. And let's flee upstairs again. There's an ancient lich closing in. I don't want to be around here anymore. So there's the ancient lich now. I should be able to smack him down just like that. But yeah, that's how quickly the tide can turn down here. This was some really brutal fight. And this shows off pretty well why I in general prefer to run shield-based builds if I really want to win. Because right now all of this got so much more dangerous because I wasn't able to use a shield here. And there's again an ancient lich around that corner. I don't like that too much. So I'm gonna acid wand into this and force him into my face. That's good. Alright, so that's okay. Some melee dudes getting enraged by the moths. No biggie. I can deal with that. But all these ancient liches, they really give me the creeps. Alright, so I feel like one major part of the trouble is already dealt with. Orc Guardians are particularly dangerous when enraged. In fact, I feel like they are the most dangerous enemies in game when enraged, so take that seriously. So we're going into the final area here. Do I have Berserkitis? Indeed I do. I thought the moths would have had enraged me back there, that's why I didn't check. So Berserkitis is something you definitely don't want to have. Scrolls take you a little longer to read, that's an absolute no-no. Ooh, I didn't want to lignify. That's kind of like mutation, but not exactly, so that's some good set. Not bad, not bad. What's the Orbs of Fire malmutating you? And this new feature from these white draconians is pretty obnoxious, to be quite honest. I don't like displacing effects at all, but who does? So about the Orbs of Fire, there's some good thing to know. They're especially vulnerable to anti-magic because they can't be silenced, but anti-magic stops their spellcasting, which is pretty good because that stops the fireballs and the malmutations as well. Only advisable though if you're fighting only an Orb of Fire on its own. There's a permanent teleport trap. So I'm not gonna follow this here. I'm gonna swap the side now, because this area is filled to the brim with Orc Guardians. And right now I want to clear out the rest of this floor first, because there were so damn many ancient liches around here. I don't want to get ambushed by these. And there's a new Orb of Fire. But I feel like I'm better off killing them guys with my +9 axe. I mean, I could enchant this anti-magic axe to +9 too. I have enough enchant weapon scrolls. So sometimes the Orbs of Fire actually give you good mutations. Like I got the Blink at Will mutation here, which is kind of cool, but yeah, not entirely necessary here. Alright, so let's pick up the orb, I'd say. More close to this. Fighting Orc Guardians like this only works if you're a Minotaur Berserker or any other very highly equipped melee dude. Don't take more than one at once normally. So let's go for the orb. I don't clear out this floor again. I could, and if I was a more vulnerable species, I should. But yeah. For now, I really want to get out of here quickly, and that's why I use the permanent teleports to get out of the vicinity here as quick as possible. So I'm gonna put up Truck's Hand again. Truck's Hand helps you a lot, also in the orb run, because you don't have time to rest up. or stuff like that. So there's a bunch of Six Fury and Cacodemon. Cacodemons are also Malmutators. Pretty obnoxious, generally speaking. And they also dig through walls and destroy kill holes you build up. So for the Orb Run, Drog provides you again a lot of good stuff. To begin with the Drog's Hand, of course, I already covered that up. But also the Brothers in Arms is a very useful ability here, because if I get chased by anything particularly nasty, like a Pandemonium Lord or anything, or some Fiend, I just can drop a Brother in Arms and keep running. The Berserk dude will will pack a lot of attention, and eventually you can just run off. So we're out of Zot. Let's see if we can get out of this situation at all. Completely. So I want to drop a Scroll of Teleportation here, because it can only get better, right? Okay, let's go south. So there's a Panlord. Like I said, I'm gonna drop a Brother in Arms and hope the Panlord gets distracted by that, and let's get out of here. Because there's a Brimstone Fiend and a Panlord, and that's stuff you just don't want to face here. Alright, there we go. Okay, next upstairs. Let's use this hatch. And where's the upstairs? There's the upstairs. For the Orb Run, I particularly like to use Digging Wands, because you can create shortcuts. And another good thing about digging here in general, you open up spaces where enemies had no chance to spawn yet. It's pretty cool. So we're out of the depths now. I'm gonna dig through here to get quicker to this upstairs. For the Orb Run, you just want to get upstairs as quick as possible. You always want to take the shortest routes upstairs you can find. And generally speaking, I try to avoid every single Pandemonium Lord I run across. Profane Servitors are pretty dangerous normally, but yeah, I'm running around with a kind of gear that would be actually able to do some extended late game. So there's the Shadow Demon at my heels, but I'm just gonna run away. You're absolutely not entitled to kill anything here during the Orb Run. You just need to get back to D1 and get out of there. That's all you need to do. Although one obnoxious thing to know is the Orb will delay your teleport scrolls. So if you need to teleport ever, do it prematurely. Do it as quick as possible, because you will need more turns than ever to fire it up. So that's very, very important to know. Blink also is uncontrolled while carrying the orb. So there's another Panlord. So it's not quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to haste, drop a Brother in Arms, and start running. And there we go. So let's flee to the next upstairs, and we're almost there. Although, I really want to point out, I'm still not through this, and I still can die here. It's very, very important to know that you shouldn't think like, I'm running around with the orb. I'm almost done here. So look at this obnoxious beast. It's very fast, it has insanely high evasion rating, and it's standing in front of me, blocking my way out of here. That's really obnoxious. So I'm gonna dig through here, and luckily he's obviously distortion branded, because his hit immediately teleported me away. That's good. I'm gonna get closer to the next upstairs here. It's actually really good that he teleported me away with that blow. Thanks, dude. Maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe you were actually a nice person. So, that's it. That's a Minotaur Berserker escaping with the orb. Just like that. I hope this video series was helpful in terms of showing how to win with a Minotaur Berserker. Because if you never won Dungeon Crawl, this is a very, very good background and species to play with to actually win the game, because you're having so many good assets to clear out the game. You can focus on the on the left side of your abilities. I only leveled up some evocations there. Apart from that, I only went for fighting skills, and it went out really good. Drog provides you everything you need, although it's only 3 skills. I haven't used Berserk much in this game, but well, with plus 16 slaying, I was kind of like running around with Berserk bonus without Berserker, kind of like. So yeah, thanks for watching. On the next series, we're gonna bring up something different, and till then, enjoy your time, and thanks for watching. See you guys.